following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's the Pipeman. It's Wednesday. It's 1 p.m. Eastern Time here on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com, The Adventures of Pipeman. And guess what? Today is National TV Talk Show Host Day. So coincidentally, we're doing a TV talk show, and we're going to have some TV talk show hosts doing this TV talk show. It's also National Horror Movie Day. And we're going to also talk about our favorite horror movies. We had something going on before the show where we literally do have the Wicked Witch of the West here with us. And I think about it, and The Wizard of Oz, as beloved as it is, if you were a little kid, that's a pretty scary movie. You got a house falling on a witch. You got these scary flying monkeys that grab you and do whatever. And listen, I mean, that's a horror flick, okay? It's a tornado. We just had tornado 4 blocks from the studio here that ripped apart everything, threw big dumpsters onto people's houses, cars onto people's houses. So again, tornado, Wizard of Oz, the scary wizard behind the screen, it's all horror. So we're going to bring on some more horror and bring on the PipeNuts and these other show hosts so that we can talk about all this. And there's the Wicked Witch of the West right there.
Speaking of horrors.
And up on our right is Don Quixote. You're not a witch. You're wearing a witch's hat. How are you not a witch?
It's a scarecrow hat.
Oh, well, it looks like a witch's hat. If you have to look that close and you have to put it that close, maybe it's not giving the right message. And isn't that true? We're going to talk to our dating expert about that. Isn't that true in dating that, those are things that could be very deceptive? Like me, if I was looking to hit on a woman, I would think she's a witch and I would probably hit on her. And then when I hear she's a scarecrow, I'm like, no, I don't go that way.
Hey, it's just it's the same in dating every day. I mean, what are we going to do that's different? Rebel, you wear that fucking hat.
Hey,
There
at
you
least
go.
it's not a white
Thank
pointy
you.
hat.
So yeah, well, listen, for those of you that don't know, and she's not going to be happy with this, but anybody that's listened to my show over the past 18 years would have heard this. But she's wearing a black hat, but she likes to have sexual relations with people with white caps like that.
At least she knows what she wants.
What? Well, because she lives in Louisiana, she runs our Louisiana studio. I'm a Jew, so I'm not allowed at that studio because I'll get lynched for sure. But Rebel's very comfortable in that environment. That's why she's got the black hat. Okay,
It's
Bill.
technically, it's brown.
Can you control your birds? They have no say. Are they hosts on your show, by the way?
What's that?
Are those birds hosts on your show? Those are your birds in the background, right?
Yeah, they do co-host every now and then. They have to get their 2 cents in. You know how that is. That's another horror movie with the birds.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, as
by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, what? You had sex with Alfred Hitchcock? Is that what you said?
Gross.
I'm not even old enough to have done that.
When did Alfred Hitchcock die?
Oh
Do we
my.
know? Juan, can you look up that information
Google
for us,
it.
please? That's extremely important, especially if you're going to talk about National Horror Day. So let me just introduce everybody. Well, I don't need to introduce Rebel. Everybody knows Rebel, and they think they know Rebel, but they don't know Rebel.
Oh,
That's
here-
why she has that black hat
Here it
on.
is.
April
Alfred
29.
Hitchcock died April 29th, 1980.
Oh, so see, you were alive, and
I'm not old enough. Man,
when's the
1980.
when's the first time you had sexual relations, Rebel?
Not in the 80s.
Not in the 80s?
Definitely not in the 80s. Not in the 80s. Do the math. No.
How old are you?
Oh,
Like,
my word. Introduce other people.
we got the other pipe there with gives the resourceful information and is also our ambassador on the show of Hispanic relations, Juan.
One. Woo.
What if people are listening to the show, Juan? They can't see you waving if they're not watching. Okay.
Well, that's why they should tune in, right?
Well, I guess so. Well, they can tune in and listen. You know, they can listen on W4CY Radio and not have to watch. Because, you know, I don't know if they really
Who
want to
doesn't like
watch
to
this show.
watch?
I don't know. Do you really want to watch this show? I don't know. But
Are we
okay,
doing
so-
fun things on this show? Maybe I'll watch.
Well, let me tell you what has been done in the past since we're talking about National TV Talk Show Host Day. So there's this bar right below the studio that it was like the Cheers of Wellington. And like all the people in the plaza would go there. All the people in town would go there. So I knew everybody there. And when I would go on a commercial break, I would go stand over the bar and listen to all the interesting conversations, use that for the radio show. And it's amazing how many people talk about cheating on their spouses in public and think nobody hears them. But, you know, what if I was the spouse standing up there? So that's something we could talk about with our dating expert over there, who I haven't totally introduced yet. But we have had naked women from the pet store in the studio on the show. So there's been that. Rebel, what else has there been? Come on, Rebel.
Goodness, there's
Dead
been
air doesn't work on
psychics,
radio.
There's been tarot card readers.
No, not the
I'm not-
boring stuff.
Psychics,
Like
tarot card reading.
the fun stuff. She asked about fun stuff. That's all fun, but it's boring compared to the other stuff. What's the craziest
There are
thing?
numerous stories about how many women want the Pipeman.
No, come
That's
on.
the facts we brought on the group on.
Yeah, so that intro.
Several women. They
Selling
always want
cheap.
him.
You guys
believe the
have you ever
story,
heard the
but it's true.
Groupon commercial? Juan, I think after I introduce everybody, you got to play them the Groupon commercial. It's the Pipeman Groupon. They
Got
have
it.
to hear the commercial. So, okay, please, professional TV talk show hosts know to turn their phone off during a live broadcast. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll accept the birds as co-hosts, but the phone, no. Okay, so that is Bill, the pet health guru, who I absolutely love and respect. His show, Pet Health Cafe, is the second longest running show on this network next to mine.
That's right.
He started off with us when we began the network like 18 years ago.
Wow.
So,
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, it's been a long, long time. I was a young man back then.
and you're still a young man, but you look
Thank you.
exactly the same to me. So I don't know if that's an insult or a compliment, but take it for whatever.
I
you
don't know
want to
either.
take it for. But okay, so he is the absolute master at helping people with their pets to become healthy. The system, just like with us humans, is poisoning our pets. And he gives all the solutions in his show, Pet Health Cafe. he is actually part of the brainchild that formed the network, the radio station he's on, which is W4HC Radio Health Café Live, and which is our all health and wellness station. And he has a place right here in South Florida, but delivers everywhere. Coolest store ever. Only if you like pets. If you don't like pets, then I don't know what to do. Fuck off. But so anyway, what do you have anything else you want to say right now, Bill, to all the listeners and viewers?
Well, the interesting thing is when you walk into our store, it's not a conventional pet shop anymore. It's basically a health center. Basically, we do all kinds of stuff for people as well now. Actually, 50% of our business is helping people now as well as the pets. Because I got complaint after complaint after complaint. My poor dog eats better than I do. What can you do? And I said, I got a program for that.
Well, see, in South Florida here, I think that humans do need your help because we're pretty screwed up in South Florida. They need your help. Maybe we can turn them into animals that are like domesticated, because right now they're just like wild animals. Okay. Can you do that for them?
The name says it all. It's My Paleo Pet. This is a carnivore place. This is where you're going to get the best steaks and chicken in the world.
Yeah.
Since we have such a bad iguana problem here in South Florida, do you serve iguana there?
No, I don't. I haven't had anybody offer me, but this past week we did get in some gator meat.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh,
So
good
then
stuff.
I have to ask Juan, because I know they like to cook iguana in Mexico.
Yes.
So do you have a contact, Juan, that we could send all the iguanas from Florida and feed the homeless in all of Mexico?
Here's the thing. I haven't seen iguanas being cooked, but I have seen them being turned into belts and boots. So
Well, there you go. Well, there's like iguana soup. I've seen it. And I think you can't say that I ate it, because like when I walk outside my place, I mean, it's like Get Smart. And those of you old enough know what Get Smart is, but it's like they're like walking past me the whole way I'm walking, like thousands of them. They're everywhere, big, small, wide. But it's like, but you know what? They are definitely nicer than humans around here. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so the next guest I want to introduce is, which I partially did, but she is the bullshit dating expert, or dating bullshit expert, whichever way you want to look at it. Okay. And her name is Christine LaLonde, and she does a show on K4HD Radio, our West Coast station, called 50 Shades of Bullshit. And I'm here to tell you, I was so excited when her show came on, because I have been doing online dating for years. And I'm just going to say, there's more bullshit than there is in my Groupon, okay? So, like, it is unbelievable. Like, I have this thing, like, okay, so there's millions of people on these online dating sites. It is the one place that you really do have plenty of fish in the sea. So why not say exactly who you are, exactly what you're looking for, so you actually buy it and get a match? I don't really get why people bullshit on those things. You like, do that somewhere where there's like two people you can pick up on, and so you need the bullshit because you ain't gonna get either one of them. But
Is that
millions?
Is that a legit question though? Because I actually have an answer for that.
Yeah, I do want the answer. Yes.
Yeah. Most people think that they need to put on what people want to hear to get laid. So if women are out there saying, hey, I want a relationship, I'm looking for the one, then the guy acts like that he's the one and he's the relationship guy until he gets you laid, and then he's gone. And it doesn't matter to him. It's a numbers game.
What about the other side, though? Because I think the women are just as bad. And I think, especially in South Florida, the women want to get laid a lot more than the men. You know,
I have an answer for that, too.
The national statistics for herpes is 1 in 4 people that has herpes.
Yikes.
I think in Florida, that's more like 3 in 4, and they're all female. Just saying.
Where'd they get it from? So
The iguanas.
women are tired of the bullshit.
Exactly.
So they've decided, you know what? It's time to put myself first, and it's time to get what I need and want. And so we don't care anymore. And we're out going, hey, if they're going to get laid, so are we. And we're going to walk away and not be butthurt about it anymore. So yay for us.
I think, Juan, I have to wait to introduce the next two because there's no more appropriate place than right this second to play the Pipeman Groupon commercial. And by the way,
God.
people have called, Ask Rebel, I've called into the show to buy this fake Groupon. Just saying. Roll it, Juan.
Not fake.
Are you tired of the same old bed and breakfast? Come visit the Pipe Cave, where you can service the Pipe Man all night long, and then serve the Pipe Man breakfast.
And then get the hell out.
That's the Pipe Man Groupon. The Groupon special is normally $1.99, but today it's on sale for $99. Just call into the show right now, 561-623-9429, and you too can have the Pipeman Groupon. I had the Groupon. You should too.
How about the fact that my thing one, okay, so my ex-wives are thing one and thing two, okay? Thing one actually did call into the show to try to buy that Groupon. I kid you not. Because, okay, so it's kind of a ridiculous story, but when we got divorced, she's like, I really hope you find what you're looking for. And this is how the Pipeman happened, okay? Because the Pipeman didn't exist before this. But she goes, because you're like the most romantic person I've ever met in my life. I'm just not into that. And so, ergo, several years later, my daughter, who, by the way, okay, so that adult disclaimer in the beginning of the show, that's my daughter. And she's warning you about listening to my show. So I don't know what that tells you. Okay. But, you know, she was working at the station and her mom calls her one day and says, I was listening to your dad's radio show. What happened to him? He's so obnoxious now. He was never that obnoxious and married to him for 12 years. He's such a player now. And then she tried to reconcile with me. Ask Rebel. Rebel was witness.
A few times.
Yeah, if you ever meet her, she will tell you, you probably know me as thing one. In fact, that might have happened with you one time, Bill, because she was working at the station for a while. And I think maybe that happened, like she introduced herself to Bill as thing one.
I don't think I ever had the pleasure of meeting her in person. That was after we took. That's after we took the broadcast into home, and then I had the police surrounding my house while we were broadcasting when I was doing my rants.
Yeah, see that? Like, so we talk about censorship. We don't censor here because listen to Pipeman, but also, I mean, you hear some of Bill's shows. Okay, like you said, he's not kidding. They surrounded his house because of the truth he was telling people. So I'm just saying that's as far as we're going to go here with that.
Yes.
But let's now introduce the next person. We're going to leave the other person for last because they were late. So they have to wait. Okay. All right. So I ran into Nanette at Aftershock. And, you know, we talked about last week that it happened last weekend at Aftershock, but that's how she got on this network. Because I don't even remember what band it was, but I was standing up by the rail at Aftershock Festival several years ago, and I was standing next to her. And I don't know how we ended up talking, but one thing led to another. And as Bill can testify, the consummate salesperson that I am, somehow by the end of the set of that band that was playing, she became a show host at our network. Okay, so for those of you out there in the world that want to know when is the best time, where is the best time to sell somebody, it's everywhere. It's wherever you are. And so I met Nanette Barto, and I was so interested in what she was saying because we didn't have true crime on the network then, and she was the most, like educated, informed person on the Zodiac Killer I ever met in my life. And so now she tells everybody about all that stuff. And her show is Hit the Road Jack, Finding the Zodiac. So, Nanette, why don't you tell them the rest about yourself?
Oh my goodness, I didn't expect to have to be on an interview. I am a forensic
You are
doctor.
on a TV talk show, by the way. It does require talking. Okay. Just saying.
Okay,
Laughing is great, but that's not enough.
I'm a forensic document examiner and handwriting expert. So I look in most cases to determine whether or not an author has actively drafted a document or executed a document, at the same time determining whether or not it is a forgery, and I testify to those facts in court. I came into contact with the Zodiac case in 2009. I was told to take it on for entertainment, and I was actually told not to deliver my opinion. And I think that when you're told something like that instinctively, you know you have to deliver your opinion. I made an identification of Jack Terrence, and he is my suspect. I walked through his life from 1928 until 2006 when he passes away, because I find that wherever he moves around the United States, there are proximity to a series of unsolved serial killings, and he happens to be in that area and trained to the degree where he could do these things that the Zodiac Killer did, like cipher messages and put things in code, and trained in 3 different militaries, hunted, bifurcated animals. So all the things that we are seeing going along with these serial killings, he is very adept at.
So what I want to know is, this is very important, but first I have to mention that one of our listeners said sexy scarecrow. So I just wanted to say thank you, but I'm not the scarecrow on the show, but thanks for the compliment. And but so I do have one question.
Do
Seriously.
appreciate it,
So
though. Thank you.
there's some developments that have happened recently that have made me aspire to a new career of becoming a serial killer. And so what can I do to avoid like my handwriting getting noticed, or whatever I have to do to escape the wrath of you figuring out it's me?
You extort
Don't-
other people to do the writing
Don't
for
leave
you.
a note.
You don't write.
Don't write a note.
The bottom line.
It's so simple. Like, see, we need to write a book, Nanette, Serial Killers for Dummies. Okay. And we could use that quote from Christine right there. Okay. It's like that. Isn't it true, though, that people make things so complicated? It's always just a simple answer. And I think that's true in dating. When we get back to talking about the dating stuff with Christine, it's like so simple. To me, what simple is, just say exactly who you are, 100%, be brutally honest about it.
Yes.
Exactly what you're looking for, 100%, being brutally honest about it. And then you might actually meet your match. Now, I can tell you I've been divorced since 2007. Obviously, I didn't meet my match up until then because I'm divorced twice. But here we are, 2024. I think I'm going to wait for like the 20-year anniversary or something like that to find who I'm looking for. I'm putting that out there in the universe. So somebody take a note of that. And we will do a live broadcast that day and find out. I can give you the day too, if you need the day. Okay. And we can find out if it actually happens. But that being said, until then, I can't really date right now because my back has all these big black and blue marks from getting this thing called cupping. Okay. And so, like, I think to myself,
all her fault.
yeah, I'm not going to go out on any dates because what if, like Christine put it, the women just want what they want. And then they take off your shirt. And it's like, oh my God, those are the biggest herpes I've ever seen. So, so in order to fix that problem or create that problem, that's why we have Dr. Nicole Fortin here, who is the host of The Language of Healing, but she's also an expert in traditional Chinese medicine, which includes cupping and acupuncture. So can I have your advice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you mean herpes or hickeys?
Well, it might be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
See what happened is I got that shingles thing that they talk about, and that's what happened. I think. Never
You
mind.
mean-
I never got that
Okay.
shingles thing. I wouldn't get that. That shingles thing. I'm not a fan of the shingles thing. Are you a fan of the shingles thing, Pet Health Guru? And don't say anything else but yes or no.
Absolutely not in favor of any of those things.
Well, there's some things I am in favor of, but that's for the dating part of the segment. And it could have to do with herpes too. But okay, so what's your advice, Dr. Fortin?
About what? On what?
How
Your
to get
dating life?
rid? Well, that I'm leaving. You're not the expert in that. That's Christine's department. Your expertise is the cupping.
Hickeys.
I have
hickeys.
Hickey herpes all over on my back. How do I get rid of them? And what happens if somebody gets cupping on their private parts? That's what I want.
Well, you've got to be pretty
fun.
Yeah, I mean it's possible.
Have to be a small cup.
Yeah, very small cup. And I do fire cupping, which means that we use fire to heat, like create that negative air
But
exchange.
didn't the fire cupping make this problem to begin with?
Yeah. Well, you were the problem to begin with. I think.
Oh, okay.
The visuals.
As long as we've gotten that clear, okay? Because it is National Horror Movie Day today, but I think we should just change it to National Horror Day. This radio show, this radio and TV show today is an absolute horror. But go on.
Yes. Well, I know the horror. I get to, I poke people, I make them bleed, I give them marks. It's a fun job. I mean, I'm
Have
like,
you ever
I'm like
seen
a walking
Final
horror.
Destination?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Fine.
And Christine, are you licensed in acupuncture so you can perform S&M too?
Not an acupuncture.
Because that's what it sounded like to me, S&M. What she just described, that was S&M. Okay?
Yeah.
I get paid for that.
That floats your boat.
Yeah. Right.
She's got the best job. She gets to torture people.
How much do you get paid to torture people? Because I would do it for free on a few people that I know.
No, they pay extra. Those free ones. Yeah. No.
I just give them extra needles where they don't need them.
Right. Yeah. I know there's a fine line between ninjutsu or something. It's like, the points that will like hurt or heal. So yeah.
Has anybody ever asked you, okay, and children that you were warned not to listen to this or watch this show, please close your ears right now. But has anybody ever asked you to stick a needle in either their labia or their butthole?
Both. Yeah.
Hey, sometimes we all need to heal. in
She
other
left
places.
something else out.
No, and for you,
Yes,
those
guys.
of you,
And what
for
does I need to know what this heals.
okay,
Ever needing a mannequin?
for those of you who have not been on here before, when Nicole was on, we did do an episode about butthole stuff. Something to do with butthole stuff in the Chinese. I
Sunny.
don't know, but maybe
So
she
it's
can
like technically
explain it
it's not
better.
the butthole, it's the perineum. And yes.
Oh, it's the perineum. See, it's the pericomo.
It's the pericomo. Yeah.
Okay, go on. Tell us about the
Oh, Lord,
pericomo.
help us all.
I don't even know what I'm sharing about.
The pericomo.
Okay. No, of course. Okay, well, what it's good for? I mean, it's a good reset for the body. I mean, technically, there's like things like neuropathy or, when the body has a lot of like stress or trauma. Yeah, it's a good.
Are you trying
like,
to
a
say
reset
that
button.
if you get poked in the butt, it's a good reset for the body?
I mean,
How do dogs and cats feel about that, Bill?
oh my gosh, this is bad.
Have you ever had issues where people didn't wash their buttholes first?
You know what? I'm like, that's a possibility, but I'm very lucky. Everyone's pretty hygienic and good. I'm not really looking.
I've not
inspecting
gotten
that close either.
Well, she's up in Canada.
I've not gotten that lucky.
She's up in
No,
Canada,
okay, yeah.
so I think they use bidets up there, so they're much cleaner.
What position
Yeah.
do they have to be in for this to happen?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Either, straight on the back, spread eagle a little bit. Okay. You just spread them and lift. If you got the ball sack, you got to lift that out of the way.
And if I remember this correctly, you said it's better done as a group activity, right?
And
We
then
can all hold each other for
if
each
they
other.
want you to move, if they want
I
you
get
to
one
move the
leg,
sack
you get
out of the
another.
way, do you charge extra for that?
No. No. That's free service. Just kidding. Just kidding.
So
no.
what do
Just
you?
helping the neighbor.
I mean, now you're making me feel uncomfortable. This is like not professional. Okay.
Did you think coming on the Pipeman was going to be professional?
I mean,
It's a
No, I
horror
thought
show.
we were talking about scary movies and stuff.
oh,
That
well,
sounds pretty fucking scary
it
to me.
sounds like a
This is
scary
like
Yeah,
movie.
I'm not.
My
Hands
worst
up,
nightmare.
scary.
Okay, so
Turns
Bill,
out I'm the scariest one of all. No, just
No,
and also-
no, you missed my story on 50 Shades
Oh.
one time. I went out
Oh.
with a dude who asked me to lick his butthole, and
Okay.
I thought, well, maybe I'll try it this time. And I wasn't
Toss the salad
prepared
a little?
for the
oh my God, you tried
extra
it?
stuff. No, I did not, because it was really dirty. It had some residual effects left. And I said,
You
"No,
mean like
can't do."
dingleberries?
No, a
Oh,
smudge, a smear.
Can I tell you
smash.
something? And
Yeah.
you should really have my son
Oh.
call in. But okay, so my son
God.
at a very important time in his life, okay, he's almost 40 now, but in a very important time of his life, like puberty, he comes up to me and he's got this very special question. He's like, he was very serious, and he's like, Dad, what do you do with the dingleberries? And so I looked at him with very straight
Oh
face
my God.
and said, you mean you don't shave there?
Mm.
And so then, okay, and to this day, by the
How
way,
was he
my
supposed
son,
to know without you telling him?
wait a minute. To this day, my son brags about how he invented manscaping because there was no manscaping back then. But what happened is a few days later, I forgot about it. A few days later, he comes up to me. He goes, Dad, it really itches. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I did what you told me. And like when I realized what he was talking about, I just like was dying laughing for like a half an hour. I couldn't stop. And then, but I did ask him, I'm like, how did you even do that? Like, I can't even imagine how you even accomplished that. So yeah. And
I can imagine.
That's saved for my parenting coaching call after the show. And so seriously though, Bill, with dogs and cats, do you think acupuncture or things like cupping are things that you can do to the animals? And do you think it's helpful? And I want Nicole to answer the same question.
We find that some of these alternative practices can be helpful with some. Of course, our approach is, you basically start out with nutrition. You got to fix that gut first. because we don't even know what good food is. We don't know how to eat. We don't know what we're doing. And then we're trying to do it to our poor animals. They can't speak. They don't have a common language with us. And unfortunately, we're seeing just too many problems. And that's pretty much what my show is about, is yelling at people for killing their animals. It's like, it's that commercialization. I mean, you talk about horror, seeing an animal suffer because of commercial foods and commercial medical procedures, if you will. That's a horror show in itself.
No doubt. And I have to say, she's not with me anymore, but I had one of the best dogs ever that I'd never even wanted. Okay. So my oldest daughter, it was her bat mitzvah. And what did she want for a present? She wanted a dog. So we go to look, and she points out the dog that she wants. And I'm like, why would you want, like, this is a 13-year-old girl. And I'm going, why would you want such an ugly dog? And so in the divorce, the dog ended up in my custody. But best dog I ever had. But for years and years and years, I went by Bill's advice and used Bill's different products of food, real food for real pets. And basically, April was a pug. And so and their average, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, under eating the poisonous food, their average lifespan is probably about 9 years.
It's even less than that.
And she lasted for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I attribute that all to the pet health guru right here. And so everybody needs to watch Pet Health Cafe. If you love pets, you owe it to yourself to watch Pet Health Cafe. And Bill, how can they do that? And what time and what day can they do that?
Live broadcasts are always Thursday at 8 o'clock on, of course, W4HC. And, of course, we're on all the other platforms that all these shows are on for all the, the replays and that sort of thing, 24/7. As you said, I've been on it and, of course, iHeartRadio. You're looking at probably 1,000 episodes by now.
I'm sure, if not more.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of information that's out there. It's obviously not mainstream. Let's put it that way.
100%. All right. So now let's move over to the West Coast over there to our dating expert. Well, our dating horror expert. I don't know if she's an expert in dating, because I think she's more of an expert in the horrors of dating and has much more experience in that department, I think, as well. So first of all,
my co-host is the expert at the dating that's decent. I actually know all the horror stories. So yes.
So my question to you is, do you think it would help these men that you're dating, that you're having these horror stories with, if you did some acupuncture and cupping on them?
Sure. Yes. Not near their buttholes, but
oh, they definitely need it near the butthole. If you have horror stories, they need a big shot in the butt.
They need the penis poking. See, they need all the. They need all the
urethra.
You provide penis poking.
Oh. Yes.
And would you advise anybody? Have you ever had a patient ask you, like they ask you to poke their penis because they had erectile dysfunction, and they wanted to use that as a way to cure it?
No, not that specifically. I've asked if I can elongate it. Can you make it bigger?
Well, that's just called a happy ending, I mean,
I want to know who admits
I don't think it was like that. Like, can you elongate it for? It was just like, hey, is there Chinese medicine to make that? Chinese medicine has a lot of weird stuff and awesome stuff. But no, the penis is off limits for sure. I think I wouldn't. It's like the
Can
eyeball.
you explain why though? Because I actually know the answer,
Yeah.
but can you explain in the serious sense why the penis is off limits to the Chinese?
Oh, maybe you know better than me. I don't know. I just think it's just like there's certain areas you just don't puncture. But you can cup like the tip. My friend did that to her husband. Yeah.
That would be a little hot, and then the bruise.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
They have silicone ones that don't bruise.
Have any of you ever had a bruised penis? Have any of you ever had a bruised penis? Because I can tell you that would end your sex life immediately. Okay.
I had a girlfriend that had a bruised hoo-hoo, and she called it her purple tulips.
And did anybody tiptoe through her purple tulips?
Oh my
Somebody did.
Somebody.
Tiptoe. I don't
Purple
think.
bruising.
It was
Okay.
more like knuckles.
So, as a TV talk show host about horror dating stories, what is the most horrifying story you have heard on your show or told on your show?
Well, I talk a lot about some crazy shit.
I'll tell one of my stories, and then you'll have time to think.
Okay.
And then we don't have to play the Jeopardy music. Okay.
Okay.
So I was in my early 20s, back before we had phones, social medias, and the internet, and they had these like little circular magazines with 900 numbers in them. Remember that, Bill?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I did meet this chick off of one of them, and it was in New Jersey, and she lived like right by the woods, and she wanted me to take her out into the middle of woods and tie her between two trees like a hammock and use her as a hammock, but and more.
Didn't we see this in a movie once?
And
Did we?
I don't know, but all I thought
Right?
about was Deliverance. And I'm like, I'm not going out in the middle of the woods with this chick because who knows who's waiting out there. And so that's my
Horror
lesson to everybody
movie.
there. Anybody that runs into an issue of getting kidnapped or any other issue because they're in the middle of the woods, let me give you some advice. You don't go out into the middle of the woods by yourself where you don't know. And so if you do, well, never mind. All right, but what's your worst story?
Well, it's a toss-up between the guy who pooped his pants in the middle of our date and ran out the door like a 5-year-old across the street.
That's
and
so
left me with
funny.
the bill. Or it
That's
could
not
be the
funny.
guy that we were on a date where he was going to give me a massage, and we started massaging me, and next thing I know, I'm being four-cornered tied to the bed, and I thought, oh shit, something bad's going to happen to me, but actually
same
no,
story.
he did it so that he could dildo his own bum.
Ah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
God.
There was a lot more to it, but
I want to
that's
go back
just
to the pooping in the pants. Okay, so first of all, A, you really expect the guy to say anything? Like, what do you do after you poop your pants? Okay,
I mean, leaving her with the bill, that was kind of shitty, you know.
I would have dropped like double the amount of the bill on the table and like, I gotta go. Okay, but that being said, there is a
He
question
didn't have
that
to
I
go. He had
have.
already went.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, there's one question that I ask a lot during interviews with rock stars at all these festivals I do. And the question is basically one story, good or bad, that when you're like 80, now the bands that are like close to 80, I'm bumping up to 90, but that you're going to tell, what would it be? And so the number one answer, survey said, like on Family Feud, this is the number one answer, is pooping their pants on stage.
Mhm.
So apparently, Christine, your situation was not an isolated experience. It's fairly common, okay? And maybe you should have given the guy a chance.
Well, I might have if he hadn't, shit and run. But
Right.
what could I do once he ran across the street like a 5-year-old with his arms waving above his head?
Maybe you should have ran after him.
I
and
think you
then
should.
None of you would have paid the
I
bill.
think he was really filming a TikTok. Is really what was happening. You know.
He could have
Okay.
been.
All right. So tell everybody how they can contact you, listen and watch your show, when, where, what time, socials, blah 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 blah, all that.
Well, it's called 50 Shades of Bullshit. It's about modern dating, finding love, and finding yourself. We're on Thursdays live at 4 p.m. and anytime everywhere else on iHeartRadio, etc. And they can reach us for IG 50 Shades of _bullshit and by email at 50shadesofbullshit@gmail.com. But it has to be a YSHYT because Gmail just doesn't like the word shit. So.
I couldn't even post to Facebook today until I realized why it kept saying real won't upload real. And I probably my whole building here heard me because I yelled fuck so loud. I was so pissed, and it's like, no wonder I can't say shit. Okay.
Yep.
So I had to do the why thing and,
yeah, it's crazy.
Why?
The
Why
easiest, less of every curse word there is.
Right.
Exactly.
You have to replace the I with an exclamation mark.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Well, speaking of exclamation marks, Nanette Barto. Okay. So
nice.
Tell us, let's go back for a second. I want to just sit and wait. Okay. Okay. Phil.
So mean.
Your favorite horror movie of all time?
Gee, going way back, because I don't watch a lot of movies anymore. But A Clockwork Orange was a little bit strange.
I like the band too.
Yeah,
band's really good.
That's interesting. I would have thought Pet Sematary was his favorite.
Well, for that time period, because I'm a little bit older than all of you, but for that time period, that was, more or less what you would call today cutting edge. Okay. There was technologies that we probably didn't even know about in making it that one.
I personally think Rebel's porn movie is the one that's the most horrifying of all. Anyway, so Rebel,
I'm still waiting I'm waiting for my copy of that one. I mean,
it's on YouTube.
I don't have a porn.
Okay,
it's on VHS.
She does have corn in the field where she protects it.
Oh yeah, can't say that word. Have to say corn. I love corn. Okay,
but corn doesn't love us.
As long as you don't tuck it.
That's right.
So, Christine, what's your favorite horror movie of all time?
The Shining.
Oh,
100%.
Jack Nicholson.
Yes. He is the badass of all badasses when it comes to horrifying and terrorizing people.
He's scary when he's in normal roles.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Nanette, we're back to you. Let's start with what's your favorite horror movie of all time? Let me guess. It must be a documentary about the Zodiac Killer.
No. I really love horror, but I'm going to say hands down Devil's Reject and A House of Thousand Corpses.
Good one.
Nice. And I love horrors too.
I love horrors myself.
You forgot the horrors.
No, I'm from Jersey. You don't pronounce that. It's horse.
Yeah, well, you live in Florida now.
Horse
that means a whole different thing here.
Not just an appetizer.
Okay, so tell everybody how they can reach out to you and all your socials and your what you would call it TV show thingy and your Jack thingy and all that stuff.
Well, you can find my website for any services needed if you're looking
Any
to have
services?
somebody. Any service, if you'll let me finish my statement, having to do with fraud, forgery, altered documents at www.handwritingdocumentexamination.com. You can find me every Friday on Dean's lovely
Is that a
channel at 10
900
a.m.
number I'm calling right now?
Yes.
It's 859 Global MG.
900
and of course,
50 Shades of Horrors. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nanette. Continue.
Fridays at 10 a.m. on all the same channels everybody else can be found on.
Okay. Dr. Nicole Fortin, it's your turn to tell us what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Horror has scared me so many times that I don't watch it very often. But one maybe that stands out is like it puts the lotion on the skin. Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Silence of the
you
Lambs.
put the hose again.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe, if you're not nice to me in treatment, maybe that's what I'm going to say to you.
I figured you see these Canadians, they always act so nice, but that's what they're really all about. Okay, right there. Okay.
Or the Hellraiser, yeah, with the needles. Like, I don't know. Maybe I
could see Nicole taking the pet health guru's pet and putting it into that well. So beautiful, Bill. Okay.
It's my little pet. Okay, and then you can.
She's gonna do experimental Chinese surgery.
Exactly. That's a good topic for another day.
Isn't that called a buffet?
Calgon, take me away. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and I'm at the Language of Healing on W4WN, the Women for Women Network, and that's Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and then of course all of the other podcasting replay platforms: YouTube, Facebook, iHeart, Spotify, etc. And we have amazing co-host, the Pipeman. So tune in because it's always a fun time.
Yeah, but it's not really all Pipeman there. It's mostly Dean, part Pipeman.
Sure.
Depends on who's on.
Dean. Yeah.
Depends
if he's wearing his glasses or not.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what's funny about that? There's a band at one of the
going up.
There's a band at one of the festivals I was at recently that the singer of the band didn't have had to take their boots off, and then they went back to their normal personality, like for real. Yeah. And so the boots were the persona for the rock star persona. So
yeah, I believe it.
For me, it's probably more my underwear, but that's for another show. Okay, so Juan, your favorite horror movie of all time?
I think I'm gonna have to go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Which one though?
2005.
Oh, forget it. No, the original.
No, I never saw the original one.
You gotta go see the original.
Before my time.
Maybe you should.
There's no Leatherface as compared to the original one.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's definitely scarier because the people are not as hot.
Well, that's true. And I have to say, one thing I will have to say is, people, I'm going to give very important advice to everybody around the world. If a house ever tells you to get out, like
get
for
out
a second time.
Yeah. That's my problem with horror movies. Is like, why would anyone stick around? Like, just get out of there, and then there's no problem.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Exactly, because when I was living up in Jersey, my ex was from Florida. She wanted to go to wanted me to take her to Amityville House, and I was like, well, I'll tell you how to get there. I'm not going there. I'm not going to any house that tells you to get out. So
you should have dropped her there.
Well,
left her there.
I really should have.
One-way
ticket. This is the things you learn when you get older of what you really should have done in the past to avoid the horror stories. That's what it comes down to. And Rebel, so
yes.
Speaking of your horror stories, somebody said here, Rebel must have some funny date stories. So give us one of your date stories that has to do with your favorite horror movie.
No. There's no time for that because Rebel's about to have to bounce to the next show. But
All right, well, hurry up and bounce.
If you guys didn't know, my favorite horror movie of all times would have to be Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Hello, and Freddy Krueger. Okay.
I didn't know Freddy Krueger was
Love
an
me some
actual
Freddy.
movie. Isn't that a movie character?
Oh well, he could be a character in my movie.
Unless it's Freddy
And
versus
Isn't there
Jason.
the new one? The new one out? Five
There's
Nights
a
at
new
Freddy's?
Freddy
No,
out?
it's no, not
Come on,
lately. But yes, it's the Nightmare on Elm Street movies starring Freddy Krueger. Me and
All right,
Freddy.
well,
Whew,
Rebel, you got
that's a
bounce.
corn movie for you.
Does anybody else real quick want to
not
shout
even
out
real.
their socials, website, or anything that we missed to promote you?
Wait,
Now's your
I have a
chance
question.
before
I have a question. No, I
What?
have a question before I go. For the
What?
ladies, how many of you are wearing matching bras and panties?
I don't wear panties.
Raise your hands. Come on.
I like
Good answer.
Christine.
But
Christine, can
that's a
we
very
talk
good
after
answer,
the
Christine.
show?
But the reason I ask, do you know if you wear a pair of matching bra and panties, you're going to be the first to get killed in a horror movie? Don't wear those matching bras and panties because you will be the first one killed.
The surprise
All right,
killer
let's go.
is the one
if-
who doesn't wear panties.
And if you're not wearing panties, you're kept around and not killed because you're useful.
Right.
You're saying that mismatching your bra and panties confuses the killer?
Oh,
She's not as sexy.
Oh.
All right, well, we got to go now because it's like the end of the show and there's another show coming. So is there anything else real quick anybody wants to shout out to promote themselves? Okay.
Watch us all. Tune into everyone.
Yeah, watch
Yes.
Episode.
Tune
Amazing.
into everyone. Bye,
And
everyone.
thank you, Pipeman,
Thank you.
for bringing it together. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you for being the best national TV talk show hosts in the world. You are the
Rocking
top
it.
picked national TV talk show hosts in the world, according to me. And that's all that counts.
That's all
That's all
that
that
fucking
That's right.
matters.
So that's it. Tune
Thank
in
you,
next
guys.
week and every week, 1 p.m. Eastern Time to the Adventures of Pipeman,
wow.
W4CY Radio, W4CY.com. How'd you do that?
I don't know.
Heart.
Oh
It,
my
like,
God, that's a new
recognized-
feature. Do it again. Do it again.
Aw.
How'd that happen?
And I have a heart on my
I don't know,
sweater.
but
See,
that's not fair.
Yes.
Do it again.
Whoa.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
it again.
Where? Come on. Nope.
Oh,
no love on
man.
demand. It's just
Juan,
pure.
you need to find out. You need to find out
The
about
story
that
of all
feature.
our lives.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Is there something else that happens? Hold on. Let me
It's
see
a
if something
mystery.
else happens.
Wait, did dicks come out when I do
Yeah.
this? Oh,
Or the thumbs
damn
up.
it.
Okay.
Nope.
I think
No
this show was an
balloon
absolute freaking horror, so we better go. But thank God it's National Horror Movie Day. We accomplished both feats. A horrible movie on National Horror Movie Day and a great TV talk show hosted by the best TV talk show hosts in the world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my bullshit. And I have a lot more than 50 shades of it.
There's like 5,000 shades.
And everybody take care of your pets because what you find out in life, the older you get, is they're the only ones that make any sense. Okay, just saying.
That's
and they're
right.
only ones that are loyal, just saying. And be loyal to Pet Health Guru because he'll keep those pets around longer. And don't forget, if you want to get the herp, get cupping. I mean, no, wait a minute. I said that wrong. Okay, no, I definitely love herpes.
You just
can't
need
get
to
enough.
sign off, Dean.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Okay, that's it. Gotta go. Thanks for listening. Come back again. If you don't come back, well, too bad for you. Screw off. Roll it, Juan.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.